Hello and welcome to my three-part series on using Imagen. We're going to be talking about the three different types of profiles that you can use in Imagen. And those are the talent profiles, the personal profile, and your Lite Personal Profile. So we'll go over what that all means. I'll show you examples, and you'll be able to, hopefully by the end of this, decide which type of profile is going to be right for you. And it could be multiple. I'll explain how I use them as well. And you'll be able to get up and running in no time with Imagen. I know it's overwhelming when you first think about, diving into a new workflow, but hopefully this will make it nice and simple for you. So from my home screen, I've just clicked on AI profiles over here on the side, and this lists my profiles. So these are ones that I've created and used. Yours is probably going to be blank if this is your first time opening the program. And by the way, if you haven't downloaded the program yet, make sure you use my link to get your 1,500 free edits included. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. And I'll tell you how to optimize using those as well so that you don't waste them. I'm going to click over here on Profile Showcase, and this is where we see all of the talent profiles. Your talent profiles are going to be a great place to start if you're a newer photographer. If you haven't dialed in your style yet, you're still experimenting with different presets or hand edits, and you don't really have a consistent style, this is going to give you that consistency. It's going to be super helpful and super easy, and there's so many to choose from. Maybe you don't keep your raw images. Maybe you don't have access to everything that you've edited in the past in order to make a custom profile, which we'll talk about on day 3. But if you don't have any raw images for Imagen to learn from, then this again would be a great place to start, and you'll be able to tweak it and make it your own as well. So let's dive in. So if I click on any one of these here, it's going to show what the original photo looked like and then how their profile has edited it. That's a funny word to say. And then you can click on other ones just to add in here, and it'll show you side by side all of the different options. And you can change this photo up here to something that maybe relates better to the style that you shoot. Find something that kind of matches and see how all of these different profiles will look. So I suggest doing this first before you jump in and start editing anything. Choose some, kind of narrow it down to what you want to play around with. So when I've clicked on a profile, there's a button down here, Use to Edit. So once you've decided that that's the profile you want to use, we can go ahead and click on that. And it's going to ask you to either choose your Lightroom catalog for the images that you want to edit, or you can browse for it, or you can drag and drop a folder of images. Now, I do use Lightroom, so if I'm showing you anything, that's going to be the method that I'm using. But you can also just drag and drop your folder of raw images in here as well. Now, I should also mention that most of the profiles are created to work with raw images. There are a couple that you'll see in here. Let's see if I can find one that are noted they are for JPEG. So some of them have 2 different versions as well. I believe the Clean and Crisp and the Love and Light both have raw and JPEG versions. So hopefully we're all editing in raw, but if you're not, or maybe you have like some images from your phone that you want to run through, feel free to go ahead and do that with one of the JPEG profiles. Another place that you can find profiles is here in the profile shop. So these ones are, like I mentioned, ones that are for sale by other photographers and companies that have created them and added them to the shop. So you can click on these, and again, you can try it before you buy it. So you can upload your own raw images and it'll show you what those look like edited. Now, keep in mind that you may shoot differently than the person that created this profile. So maybe you'll need to adjust the exposure a little bit, or maybe you want things overall to be a little bit warmer than what it ends up looking like. You can make those little tweaks afterwards. So you just kind of want to look for like the overall look, and is it doing what you want with the colors? And then you can experiment from there. So generally your workflow is going to be to cull your images first before you bring them into Imagen. And that's for the simple reason that you don't want to pay to edit photos that you're not going to end up using. So what we're going to do is try it out here now. I'm going to use Love and Light on some images that I prepared here. Now, depending on how you cull or how you organize your photos, mine are in specific folders for the ones that I'm keeping and the ones that I'm editing out. So I can just choose the specific folder that I want. But if you do it by star ratings or by flags or colors, you have all these options here. So maybe it's all the ones with the green label that you want to choose, or it's all the ones that you flagged as pics. Then you can choose them that way and it'll narrow it down so that you're not editing everything. So I'm just going to choose that folder and hit next. Here I can name my project, and I can choose my profile if I have not already from the ones that I've used or any of the talent profiles available. It's all in there still. This doesn't really have any impact on the output of your images at this point. It's just for them gathering information. So just choose whatever fits closest. Now you'll see you have all these AI tools that you can choose from. So if you want to crop your images or in a portrait crop or headshot crop, those are going to give you different proportions. You can have your images automatically straightened if you constantly shoot crooked like I do. You can smooth skin, you can add a subject mask, and you can just leave it as a subject mask with no adjustments if you just like to have that so that it's there for you. You don't have to wait for Lightroom to create it on each image. Then you can do that, or you can automatically brighten your subjects or darken them or whatever it is that you need to do for your look. You can whiten teeth, and you can add a background mask, same as the subject mask. Any that are in beta are free to use right now, and then eventually they'll be out of beta and you pay for it. And you can see your cost right here. So my estimated cost is $3. If I add one of the betas, you can see that it stays at $3. And if I add teeth whitening, you can see it jump to $3.25. I think I had 50 photos there. So not too bad. It doesn't add a ton of cost. If you're doing weddings maybe and going through thousands of images, then that might add up a little quicker. But for a regular portrait session, it's very affordable. Now, when you click on the little settings button, then you can change by how much it's adjusting things. And you'll see afterwards, once you have edited your photos, because obviously you can't really tell exactly what this is going to look like right now. But once you've edited them, you can come back in here and readjust them and download them again for free up to 6 times. You can adjust and download things without paying additional. So you can re-download the same images with different settings. You can even try out an entirely different profile. If you decide you're not happy with the one that you chose, you can do that multiple times with your set of images, only paying for it once. Which is a very nice feature. So that's how you're going to save money with your free credits. Use those 1,500 credits to experiment and check out all of the different options you could possibly want. I suggest, like I did, going through your images and coming up with a collection of an average of everything that you shoot so that you can see what this profile is going to look like on weddings or on families, on indoors and outdoors. And then you'll know if you like it or not, if it's going to work for you. Some people have different profiles for indoor sessions versus outdoor sessions, and that's totally fine too. Okay, so when I hit edit, it's going to do its thing. It's also automatically creating a backup for me. So we'll see here that it's uploading for edit and it's uploading the high-res images for backup as well. So you have built-in backup with Imagen. So sorry, I just minimize that window, but now you can see here that it is editing, and then it'll ask you to download them to review. This button will become available. And then if you need to fine tune it, you can. Otherwise, you can just archive this project and be done with it. So we'll give that a minute to do its thing. Okay, we can see now that they are ready to download to review. And it's just confirming here, 50 photos. You can add additional filters and selections if you want to change what you're actually downloading. We want everything that we sent in the first place. And open the Lightroom catalog so we can see what it did. All right, this is usually my favorite part, watching these edits pop in. This is not the profile that I would normally use for these type of images though, so this is not going to look like what I usually shoot. But my computer's struggling a little bit, but you can see them popping in here. I've already got things filtered a million different ways, but see those jump in. Very fun. So let's take a look at a couple before and afters here. So with the Love and Light profile, this is what we started with, and this is the edit. Which is actually pretty cute. This is much brighter than I usually edit. I like my colors a little bit deeper. But this is gorgeous, right? Especially if you're just doing proofs, you can just run them through Imagen and send them off and be done. So helpful. Once you've reviewed your photos in Lightroom and decided if you're happy or you're not happy, come back into Imagen here, and you can either upload your final edits if you are happy, and then Imagen will be able to learn from the adjustments that you have made to the profile that you used. And eventually over time, you'll be able to fine tune that profile, and it'll get closer and closer to exactly what you want based on the corrections that you're making, which is super awesome. In here, our little side menu, we have some new options here that you can experiment with, but we can also go to Adjust AI Profile. So This here, you can upload a raw image to see the before and afters. And this is where you can start correcting things. So correction is going to be based on what it already thinks it wants to do. You want it to be more or less. If you set it as a fixed value, then your temperature is always going to be whatever you put in here, like temperature of 5000 K. If you do the correction though, say it was correcting things and it was a little bit too on the cool side every time, then you can make it a little bit warmer by using the correction tool and just going up. I'd recommend probably just one bump at a time, unless it's really far off, and then see how that looks. And you'll be able to judge it if you upload the raw photo here. So once you've made all your corrections down here, then you can save and download your images again. And again, this will not charge you a second time when you're adjusting your profile this way. Up to 6 times you can download them. So make changes, experiment, figure it out. And if we say edit again, you can come in here and choose a totally different profile. So maybe I want to use my personal one, my deep and bold, which is what I would normally use in this situation. And then I can just hit edit. All right, so there you have it. That's your whole process for using the talent profiles. And it would be the same process if you purchased a profile from the profile shop. It would then show up in your account and you can use it the same way. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment, send me a message on Instagram, email me, whatever you need to do, and I will do my best to help you out. And in the meantime, stay tuned for video number 2, where we will talk about Lite Personal Profiles, where you get to use presets that you already use and love.